Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to another Wasteland 3 Project voice actor interview. God, that's a mouthful. Kill me now. As you can hear a little bit, we actually have our second voice actor coming to be interviewed today. Everyone say hello to Damien the DM.
Howdy.
So, just like with the Kier interview, we're going to talk to Damien about their character, their story, the whole squad mostly, and of course about some other questions about the project and the game. And if you haven't watched the Kier interview to get an idea, the Kier interview, check it out in the description below. So, Damien, I know you've done characters before, so this should feel kind of natural to you because you do play Dungeons and Dragons a lot.
Yes.
But your character is going to be Genos, I believe is what we decided on the name.
Yep.
And now people are wondering why is it just Genos? Safe to say, I feel like Genos is the mysterious wild card of this group. We don't know their first or last name, or even their gender for that matter. They're just Genos.
Yep.
Now, I want to see if you recall what the three skills you gave your character was.
It was the sniper, the animal one, and survival, I believe it was.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is the kind of the opposite of Kier's character, who we'll get into later. But why do you have to be so mysterious? You're like a ranger, essentially.
I mean, there's fun in mystery. When you don't, give everything right away, it makes people wanna find out more themselves.
Is that what you're mostly planning for this character as the series goes on? Is just to be have this mystery unravel slowly?
Yeah, I feel like it's more like exciting that way.
That's fair. So with Kier's character, his talents he picked somewhat around himself. I feel like you're not actually a sniper unless you're hiding a secret talent from me.
I've shot a rifle once and I did hit my target, but
Oh, there you
no,
go.
I'm not a sniper. I'm an archer.
That's close enough. I mean, knowing this game based off its setting, there's probably some sort of crossbow or bow we can find you anyway.
Awesome.
But you also chose animal handling and survival. Is there a reason that you chose that, or did you choose it because hey, it's like a ranger?
I mean, I always love going the route of animals when I can. Growing up, I did the whole animal rescue shelter with my mom that we ran together. So, like, animal handling is just something that I vibe with personally.
Okay. And the survival part?
I already had sniper and the animal handling. I was like, why not go full ranger?
I also just realized I have my desktop audio down, so I just gotta turn up you in editing. So fun for me.
Oopsie.
It's alright. I corrected that mistake, so we're good the rest of the interview. But that's kind of cool about how I love it when people pick their perks kind of like they're related to themselves to make their characters feel just like them in a weird sort of way.
Yeah, it's like you're being yourself, but also not yourself, in like in this epic setting that you get to play a character that would make choices that you might not make, but it's still you.
That's fair. Um, and as for Genos themselves, I think I have a really good history. I have a feeling that, well, in writing aspect, I'm planning this where Genos and the superior officer, Captain Fall, whose art was provided by a close friend of yours, Jane Demand, which I don't know if I showed you yet or not.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited. His art is awesome.
Oh, I thought I showed you that. Weird. I can always just pull it up after the interview, but that is going to be your superior officer, Captain Fall, and I feel like these two are going to have some sort of history with one another based off this mysterious aspect of Genos.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I am definitely intrigued by that idea.
Now, before people ask, no, Genos' first and last name will not be revealed in the Damien interview. because I have to keep that secret at least. And like we were trying to, like I explained to Kier, you go by they, them. Is that something you want to keep with Genos, or do you think Genos has something different going on?
Well, I do the they, them, he, him. I think Genos would be strictly they, them.
So you're gonna, that's gonna be funny to see you enforce that. And considering that Kier's character, again, I bring this up because he's the only person I've done an interview with, is like the stubborn oaf of the group. I feel like he's gonna be like, hey, they have a specific rule set. Don't make me punch you.
It should be fun.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be fun. But that's all we can confirm about Genos for now, folks, because if I revealed everything now, Genos would be probably extremely boring.
Thanks.
Well, here's the thing. Like you said, you gotta keep some mystery. I mean, I've revealed some of Kier's character, but we didn't go over everything.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kier, why don't we talk about your squad mates and also your other voice actors that you're going to be working with for this project?
Already?
So I don't know if you watched the interview I did with Kier, but he's going to be playing Flynn Kier McAllister. Hopefully you get that reference at least.
Leonard Kier McAllister?
Well, Kier's going to be like the nickname for his character. His character's name is going to be Flynn McAllister.
Alright, that's fun.
I thought you were laughing because you got the reference. Now I gotta tell you what that reference is afterwards. But no, Flynn's expertise for your squad is going to be melee combat of the blade and blunt weapon variety. So
That is very much the opposite of a sniper.
I expect you to accidentally shoot him at some point.
Maybe.
He also is going to take the hard ass perk, which in Wasteland is pretty much like your intimidation, like a barbarian kind of thing.
Okay, so he could go into a rage.
Well, it also means he can be aggressive and intimidate people, honestly.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
And his final skill, well, this was a second choice. He's actually also going to be your tech guy, because in Flynn's backstory, the reason he's such a hard ass and always has like a weapon on him is because, unlike most kids who get bullied, he took an exception and just beat the crap out of everybody over it.
Alright, buff boy tech nerd.
Essentially.
That's a new one.
Essentially, yeah. So, what are your thoughts so far on Flynn?
I mean, sounds like an interesting character to see, like interact with the world more and, interact with Genos too, of course.
And like the actor himself, he's probably going to have a little bit of a flair from time to time. Not as comedic as the next person we're going to get into, but still.
I hope everybody has a little bit of a comedic edge, because that always makes it a lot more fun to work together.
I'm sure it will. Well, until you accidentally shoot somebody, that is.
Yeah.
But don't worry, if you shoot somebody, you're going to have your team medic. Ha, you see what I did there.
There we go. Transitions.
So, this guy, he was in my last campaign, and he provided lines very early on when I wanted to incorporate that in the series. But we got Billy, who is going to be playing Billy the Doc Bobby.
Billy Bobby?
That's his YouTube username, by the way, so...
That's great. I love it.
Okay, but obviously Bill is going to be your medic. Like, that's his first and foremost thing that he prioritizes in.
He's gonna be having to run back and forth.
Probably. His second skill is going to rely on machine guns as well, so you're not the only one shooting guns in the group, at least.
Alright, we got more of a mid-range. That's good.
And then he did say he wanted to change his third perk, but I always thought Kiss Ass was going to be funny.
So you'd have hard ass and kiss ass?
Yes. But we'll figure out what that is. But like I said in my first ever Wasteland video, back when I did that, the build was mostly designed after Leon Kennedy, if you know who that is.
Yes, of course.
Because at the time, that was Bill's Let's Play he was doing, so I figured it would make sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
So, and as you heard from his voice lines, he is a doctor. Barely. So I found this first aid kit in the dumpster. It'll do.
I mean, you work with what you got.
Depending on how you feel, you can either describe him as Dr. Zoidberg or Dr. Zed. Whatever fits your fancy.
Oh my god. I love it. Dr. Zoidberg. That's hilarious.
Well, with the comedy that Bill has in his voice lines that he wants to do, because oddly enough, off recording, he actually is playing the game.
Nice.
So, honest thoughts on Billy's character.
Sounds like it'll be a riot to interact with. It should be interesting to see, you know, the other two are more comedic, how they interact with Genos and how that's gonna mesh well. Um, but I can imagine some witty one-liners as he's having to heal someone over and over.
Like, didn't you just step into a mine 2 seconds ago? Yes. Well, mine your business next time. That's Bill. All right, so let's move on to your final squad mate for the time being. Like I said in the update video, we are going to see if anyone will be interested in voice acting bonus characters we're going to be getting for the squad. And probably get them on an interview too if they say yes.
Do it!
So your last character, this is an interesting one. We have a good friend of mine. Yang the Insane is her username, and oddly enough, her character's name is going to be Yang the Insane Xiaolong, because shocker, fan of Ruby.
Okay. And is it going to be like a Ruby character?
The build that we went with for it is essentially pretty much kind of like the character from the show. So you got your brawling aspect, which is bare fist fighting, pretty much. Like they will like brass knuckles, spike knuckles as weapons.
Alright, so too close range.
And they also have the explosive expertise,
Ooh, that's fun.
which in this game can range from anything from Molotov cocktails to rocket launchers to a rocket that acts like a nuke.
My goodness.
So you're going to have someone that not only can dish out explosives, but also the explosive tree can disarm explosive traps.
Well, I'm sure that part will come in handy more often than the making of the explosives, because I feel like we gotta get materials for that.
To be fair, you can probably like buy grenades though. It's just like, there's a tripwire. I have broken the tripwire, and now I have made a bomb. So, and the third perk, we're still deciding on what it's going to be. For the time being, we're going to stick with the repair aspect. That might change as the shotguns or something, but for the most part, right now, we're mostly thinking the repair skill tree.
Okay, that should definitely come in handy a lot.
Yes, and we'll talk about why in the actual game aspect and what you guys will be doing.
Ooh.
But Yang in real life is actually unable to speak due to a prior injury she had while kickboxing, oddly enough, was something she did in her pastime. So because of that, people have asked, what am I going to do for Yang's voice lines and everything? So we're using a little text-to-speech box, only besides plain old text-to-speech, we're also going to include funny lines from other medias, because why not?
That should be interesting to hear how it plays out.
Yeah, because like there's one aspect that I want to do. I don't know if you've ever seen Clone High, but one of the skits involves a character from Clone High.
I haven't seen it.
So that's going to be a big surprise for you when that happens. Well, what I'm hoping happens anyway. But you have... Well, first of all, what are your thoughts on Yang's character so far?
Sounds really cool. Sounds like kind of more of the badass femme fatale kind of archetype.
It's like, oh, well, I'm out of bombs. I'm going to punch her face instead.
Oh god, that'd be the best tool for underestimating someone. Like, they think she's just a tech nerd until she starts beating the ever-living daylights out of somebody.
It'll be like, Yang, stop being that person's face in. No! He said my bombs were terrible. So yeah, the text-to-speech voice boxing is going to be an interesting thing to work in with the dialogue you guys will be doing in the
Yeah.
yeah, like in the overworld, and of course, this is a great transition to talk about some of the stuff about Wasteland 3 itself because I imagine you have never played the game.
I haven't. So
Uh,
I'm going into this blind. I'm kind of excited, honestly.
well, we're going to go over a couple of things about the game, like overall what the story is to give you an idea. So,
Yeah.
in Wasteland 3, you play as the Rangers. You are specifically called Team November.
Why a month?
Military wording. N stands for
Oh,
November,
okay.
according to U.S. military. I'm pretty sure Nightfall can tell you that too.
That's a lot of syllables for a letter.
Sometimes it's like that.
But go on.
So in Wasteland 3, you are getting relocated to try to keep the group to keep the Rangers alive. You relocate from the state of Arizona to the state of Colorado.
Right? I have a vague idea of where those states are.
Do you really?
I do, actually.
Okay, good. Because Kier's Scottish and he's in Scotland, so he's never been to the U.S.
Oh, I barely know where they are. Only because I know where Arizona is.
You you know more about the location than the people from the UK at least, so you got that working in your favor.
Huzzah!
So you're gonna be exploring. You're gonna try to rebuild, and in the game, you're gonna run into different factions. Some of which include the Marshals. I called them Daisy's deputies last time because Sheriff Daisy is the leader of the Marshals.
Okay.
Another example can include the 100 Families, and I believe they're called like regular civilians or settlers as well. Those are just examples of factions in the game.
Alright.
And you start out neutral when you first meet them, but based upon the actions you and your group will take, that can either raise your value or lower it with a faction.
So kind of Fallout-esque, but with multiple people.
Yeah, kind of like Fallout New Vegas, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
So pretty much what's going to be happening as the story is unfolding, I'm going to be talking to you guys and about the situation you're in because there's a lot of different choices you can choose for certain quests and everything.
Alright.
So we're going to be talking to you guys as a whole and figuring out what the group will decide overall. I don't know if you guys will actually vote for a squad leader or not. That's up to y'all.
I always go with what my characters go with whenever I play D&D, so it'll probably be the same here.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure you'll be able to talk to the other actors and everything. Once the project's officially launched, I'll start like a private call or something for the actors.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, you probably didn't watch Kier's interview because
I haven't had a chance today, yeah.
yeah, because you are busy with real life stuff. But he said he is excited to work with you because of the unfamiliarity that you are to some of this group.
Yeah.
Because to my knowledge, the only interaction you've ever had with Bill, for example, has been that one time we played Among Us together, and that was that.
Yep. The one time in Among Us, I was gonna mention that. And that's pretty much the only time I've spoken with any of him.
Yeah, so that's going to be really cool to see you guys interact together as a group. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah. I always like making new friends, so.
Yeah, and plus, like, as the writing's going on, it's not just going to be me writing. We're going to also be talking to the actors to build your characters' backstories and everything to go over once I do get the official art. Which is still being worked on, by the way. Hence why we're doing these interviews.
Art takes a long time. I've delved my hand in that, and it takes a long time.
Yeah, I know. Mushi was telling me that they are so sorry that it's taking a while to get this because it's a bigger order than expected and probably the most expensive one they've gotten so far.
Mushi is adorable as a person, let alone their art, but yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I also paid in advance anyway, so they're like, okay, time to get to work.
A little fire under their tushy.
Pretty much. But in back on topic to the actual Wasteland game, real quick. The faction stuff. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's going to be a fun aspect, or do you think it's going to be kind of challenging, and you guys are going to try to pick favorites?
I think it'll be a fun aspect. If it comes down to some of the factions not getting along with each other, it'll be interesting to see if we can all agree on which factions we agree with,
Do you think your
if that
character?
makes sense.
Yeah, like as a whole, you'll agree on like helping out one specific group. How do you think
Yeah.
Genos will feel though as your character? Do you think they'll try to stay kind of neutral, or do you think they'll lead heavily towards someone? Do you think?
For if Genos was going to lean one way, it would have to be somebody did something to really like earn her respect or impress her in a way that she wants to help them out.
That's fair. And also, I was just double checking something. Let's get this whole faction thing's I think gonna definitely be a lot of fun because you guys are definitely gonna have a lot of fun deciding what happens in the story, how your quests are gonna go, and who you decide to make friends with and who you decide to kill. It's also going to be fun to see you guys interact with the patriarch, who is the guy that's trying to help you, and he's a leader of one of said factions.
That should be interesting. Like Genos will have to like try and not be biased working for someone that's running a faction.
Well, to be fair, he in the game he is the reason you guys are going to get a foothold in Colorado anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about Wasteland as a game is it's open world. So you might be thinking, well, besides exploring towns, where do you guys go? You guys are going to be traveling in a car.
Nice.
You
I
guys,
wonder who's gonna end up driving all the time.
well, that'll be decided among the group, I imagine. Because like the Kodiak is a pretty big car, and if you folks have seen one of my other Wasteland videos, it also acts as an ally in combat, which is gonna be fun. Just like command
What? The car is an ally?
you can command the car to shoot something, run someone over, act as like a temporary
I love
cover.
it.
It's definitely gonna be a lot of fun, and that's where a good amount of these interactions are gonna be taking place. Some of them are going to be with your teammates for sure, like whether it be one on one or a group thing, but sometimes you might have to interact with Captain Fall, so. By the way, for folks wondering, we don't have an official actor for Captain Fall yet, unless Damien knows someone who's interested.
I mean, I can think of a couple people to ask.
If you want to ask, go ahead, but for the time being, until I can confirm who Captain Fall will be, it'll be most likely voiced by me for the time being. I'm writing, I'm playing the game, and I have to voice a character. Yippee!
Have you thought about asking John John?
I mean, I don't know what his availability is going to be, you know? He's been very, what I understand, he's been very busy as of late.
Yeah, he doesn't do the streams anymore.
There's a couple people I thought about asking, though, so I'll see what their thoughts are. I honestly also thought about asking Nightfall at some point, because he is a real life military veteran, so I think he could probably use that experience as well to play this character.
Yeah, he could offer a different perspective. Plus, he has his little voice modulator thing, so
Yeah, I'll
he
definitely.
could do an obnoxiously deep voice if he wanted to.
Yeah, we'll definitely be seeing if anyone's interested in playing Captain Fall, or if you find anyone that's interested, tell them to let me know, and we'll talk to them about it.
Yeah.
Let's try to get back on topic now as best we can. We keep losing track, but it's okay. It's all about having fun on these interviews, honestly. We are also going to be tackling the DLC in this game, which I have not yet played.
Ooh.
Because there's a new one coming out on October 5th, and that's also what kind of really invigorated me to get back into this. It's like, okay, I missed the previous DLC, and they're releasing more, and people really loved it when I played this game. It's time to revive this whole thing.
Yes.
Now, as you know, I do want to ask you this because she did reach out to me about it. Your wife was originally one of my characters, as you know,
Yeah.
but it was before stuff happened, you know.
Yes.
I do want to ask you this. If let because there's a couple of guest characters that are going to be joining the team every now and then. If one of those characters happened to be someone that she's interested in voicing, is that something you think you would be okay with doing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be fun.
Ah, I'm glad you're on board. I didn't bring this up with any of the other actors just yet because, you know, she's your wife, so I got to talk to you first. Because just
I
like
appreciate that. But
most,
yeah.
yeah, because I feel like if I talk to them about it first and they're like, I don't know who this person is. Why should they come back again? They left us the first time. But honestly, it's going to be really fun. And this
Yeah.
DLC is definitely going to be an enjoyable experience. Is there anything else that has you curious about the game so far? Like whether it be the story, the factions? Do you have any questions so far about Wasteland 3 itself that I can try to help you out with?
Um, questions not off the top of my head. I'm excited to see the story unfold with the different characters. I'm a big like story nerd when it comes to like D&D and everything too. So,
And considering that I know of a certain D&D Easter egg in the game, that's going to be fun to see your opinion on.
ooh,
I can't
okay, I'm excited for that now too.
I can't give away anything more than that to keep that secret. And I do want to ask you a couple bonus questions real quick since this interview didn't take as much time as I thought it was going to. So I just got to fill that time gap.
Oops, sorry.
Oh no, that just means we. It just means that you were more prepared than I expected, and we had less technical difficulties today compared to last time. Don't ever blame yourself.
Okay, well, I could say the same to you too.
All right. Out of your squad mates, is there anyone you are really excited to have an interaction as Genos with, or are you just excited for them all?
Um,
That includes Captain Fall, by the way.
they should all be pretty interesting, but Yang being the other like kind of badass, not as comedic, should be interesting to see, how they vibe together. I keep saying vibe too much. Mesh together.
Vibe, mesh, whatever. You're in a post-apocalyptic world. Post-apocalyptic world. That is hard to say, Sean.
Apocalyptic. It's the Pokemon apocalypse. It's Pokepocalypse.
Oh God, not the poke-apocalypse. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a lot of fun to have an interaction with. And of course, is there anything in the game that I've described to you so far that you're looking the most forward to?
In the game, I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm looking forward to seeing the car as an ally in combat, honestly. That just sounds hilarious.
it definitely is hilarious to be honest. And then of course, like I said, there's probably going to be an occasional voice actor coming in for certain guest characters. Like the biggest one I can think of that I always bring up and that Bill always brings up is going to be Quan, which is definitely going to be interesting. How do you feel about there being guest characters, like guest actors appearing every so often?
I love it. It's exciting. I try to get, guests for D&D whenever I can. The more people that you can like share your passion with, the better.
Yeah, because honestly, the only downside to having him voice a character like Quan is that Quan is already pre-written, so I gotta tell him this is how Quan is. So I think that might be challenging for some people I have in mind to play Quan.
Yeah.
Like Quan is think of Quan kind of like a he's got like an occasional one-liner, but he's more of a straight to the point militaristic guy because he was a former member of the Marshals.
Huh. Hey, maybe you could have Nightfall do that one.
Well, like I said, I gotta reach out to them and see if they're interested. I definitely think that the Team November is going to have a lot of fun on this adventure, exploring Colorado,
Yeah, absolutely.
going into snow once again.
How much do you know about Colorado
The state
to be
itself,
able to describe everything for us and everything?
I don't know that much around about Colorado itself, like the state, but I'm
Hmm.
familiar with the cities you guys are going to be going to, such as Denver and Aspen, for example, are a couple locations you are going to be visiting in the game.
Makes sense. Those are the bigger locations of Colorado.
Some of the other locations in the game are going to be based off random things like the bazaar. I feel like you're going to get a kick out of the bazaar.
I mean, I get a kick out of the name already.
No anime fans, that may not be a JoJo reference, or it might be actually. I don't know.
Everything's a JoJo reference nowadays.
That's also true. So, do you have any final questions about anything we've talked about so far today, or do you think that's everything?
Um, when do we get started?
Uh, yes, the age-old question: when does Sean officially begin the first episode 0? Once Mushi has art, episode 0 will be in production.
Yay!
It'll be giving a general intro to all the squad mates of Team November, who Captain Fall kind of is, and of course, it'll show the beginning cutscene, which will make sense for one of your other squad mates about why they're injured in game as well.
Ooh, a
So,
little intrigue there. Very nice.
is that all the questions you have so far?
Yeah, I'm excited to get started.
Well, thank you, Damien, for appearing on the interview today. I really appreciate it. Just like I appreciate any voice actors that's going to be coming on to talk about their characters and whatnot.
Thank you for inviting me on as a character.
Now, Damien, if people want to find you anywhere else besides my channel, because sometimes my channel is boring and it doesn't upload because of real life, where can they find you?
On Twitch is DamienTheDM. Um, and TikTok, same name. It's all one word.
You're going to have to send me a link to the TikTok at least so I can put it in the description. But there you go, folks. If you're curious about Damien and where to find them, check them out on Twitch, check them out on TikTok, and whatever other links I put in the description if you want to see what they're like, not as Genos.
Yeah.
And
I'm weird and awkward, so pretty much the opposite of Genos.
I mean, why did they come see me? All right, Damien, I shall let you end the video with whatever you want to say.
Everyone is important.